Candace.
And I'm Ripley.
And I'm John.
And this is Comicsplaining,
the show where we fight in the orange Fanta void.
Yeah, this sure is a cover.
Yeah, we're not allowed to have the actual cover for the issue this time on Classic X-Men, so I guess we get whatever Arthur Adams put together for us here.
And he did not put together a lot.
What?
I mean, like, they're not interacting with the background in any way, shape, or form, apart from Nightcrawler. But
What
I wouldn't
is
really
Nightcrawler
count that.
hanging off of?
Yes, that is a...
ship anchor, but made by rednecks.
it's
made by...
It's made of pipes.
Yeah, it's made of...
Made by the Circus of Crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks. The Circus of Crime is not the most competent.
And they have a lot of pipes. We know that about them.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes these pipes lead to zany hijinks.
Oh, yes.
I imagine frequently, actually.
But these covers have been better. What happened?
These covers are not as good as the originals.
True, but they've been better than this.
Yeah. There's really no definable background, and nobody is really interacting with the background.
Colossus is just kind of in the air somehow.
There's just
Well, I assume
orange.
Magneto is levitating him.
Oh, that's what that is.
Oh, yeah, because he's got beams. He's getting hit with beams.
It's just that his hand, especially his right hand, wasn't in the right place to be doing a beam attack.
Yeah, beams will get you every time, though.
These do be happening.
And he is made of metal. Not that that matters, because I believe at this point he can still mind control people with his magic powers.
God. Well, you remember that one. Do you remember what happened last time on X-Men?
No!
They fought Black Tom Cassidy.
They did.
And there were leprechauns.
There were leprechauns.
Yeah, Black Tom Cassidy had
Leprechaun slaves.
Yes, he had leprechaun slaves, which is
normal.
A choice somebody made.
Exactly as normal as Colossus's right foot.
I know. Buddy, you broke that, or it's really, really long. Motherfucker's got like one size 11 and one size 24.
That's so unfortunate.
It's questionable.
But I mean, he's not. Kurt's face is looking long.
He has his mouth open.
Yeah, this cover is just rough, but I don't really... Beyond the leprechauns!
I don't like Kurt's hands. They don't look right.
You are not wrong about that either. It's suggesting here his feet too claw-like.
Yeah, the hands too. We're a little off model here, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were fighting Black Tom, and Black Tom had leprechauns.
And the Juggernaut was there.
And the Juggernaut was there.
And then...
The
They
vacation
beat Black Tom and threw him into the ocean.
Yeah, this vacation is not the most memorable thing compared to,
I mean, there was stuff in between there, but none of it mattered.
Oh, I don't know. The thing with Professor X and Scott was a lot.
Oh yeah,
true.
when he almost hit Scott and Scott recoiled in, like, actual...
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh boy. This man who can't even stand... swinging an arm at you makes you recoil. Oh, no.
We, did forget one more thing in here, and that is that Black Tom and the Juggernaut were working for Eric the Red.
Oh yeah,
yes.
that was like at the very end, wasn't that?
Yep, because we dipped in on his evil Zoom call, as we did.
Yes, Eric the Red, who isn't Scott.
Who isn't Scott.
And isn't wearing shorts.
And isn't wearing shorts
because
he's a fucking coward.
Because if it was Scott, he'd be wearing shorts.
Our first issue is going to be X-Men 104 from January of 1977, the year of Star Wars and Dead Elvis.
Oh boy.
Written by Chris Claremont, penciled by Dave Cockrum, inked by Sam Granger, colored by Andy Yankus, and lettered by Bruce Patterson.
You heard it here first. Star Wars killed Elvis.
That's what happened. We're going to be using the classic X-Men version of the story, as per the usual, so we're featuring some pages with colors by Evelyn Stein and letters by Ken Lopez. We've got a whopping 3 new names this time around, so let's get some factoids on the new guys. Andy Yankus was a longtime colorer at Marvel, and even made it to the head of coloring for a time. But I know we like the fun bits, so he was one of the founders of a comic book fan club called the Illegitimate Sons of Superman.
Woo, that's a name.
A lot of the members which actually grew up to be like the second generation of comics professionals, like the guys we're running into.
So they became the legitimate Sons of Superman.
Well, the legitimate fathers of Superman, in a way.
Okay, the stepfathers.
But they were also born out of that love. Though.
True.
The stepfathers of Superman.
That's some weird intergenerational stuff.
I mean,
on there.
okay, the stepsons of Superman. They went from illegitimate to
stepsons of Superman.
Adopted.
Bruce Patterson had a comics career spread across the industry, but I can't find much in the way of tidbits, apart from the fact that he stated he was influenced by Salvador Dali and Dick Giordano, who was an early Silver Age comics penciler.
Huh.
Considering he's lettering here, I don't expect to see much of their influence, but you guys are welcome to try. I've pulled out a piece from each of them. So study these and then let us know.
This is in French.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, I zoned out when you were talking about that.
So I think we have a better chance of having good luck with Dick, frankly. So there we go.
Wait, DC Comics was in Rockefeller Plaza? Wow.
Apparently. Ken Lopez has been a longtime comics professional, to the point that he is still heavily involved in comics. Over at DC, he's the art director for lettering and the cover editor, like now.
That's actually pretty neat.
Yeah. Of course, that's from the 80s segment of it, so it's not quite as much of a surprise that he's still working in the industry, but there are plenty of people we've seen drop out.
Look, when there are people like who have been working in this industry about as long as I've been alive, there are people who have been in the industry much longer than I've been alive. We've encountered some of those people.
We're talking about Chris right now.
Yeah.
Chris is still putting shit out.
Yes, he is. He's still in the... There's so many of these people who are still in the industry.
Yeah, at this point, we're starting to hit it. We open on the X-Men, smacking face first into Murphy's Law, as usual. After their very restful vacation in Ireland...
That was not restful. That was not restful at all.
It seems their trip to their next destination, Muir Island, is going about as well. They've paid passage across the harbor to the island, but now Captain McWhirter is having none of it. Gotta say, it's pretty weird for a guy named McWhirter to go calling Sean a Mick. The Celts are fighting!
I mean, I guess that's, Banshee is Irish?
Yeah, Banshee's Irish.
And I guess this guy must be Scottish or something?
Correct. Muir Island is just off the coast of Scotland.
What? This is usually in English.
Despite having already been paid, the bad captain refuses to take them, despite the clear conditions.
Okay, take the boat. Just steal it. Steal the boat.
Well, the pair argue that's not the only thing catching local attention. Some nearby dock workers even narrate their attempts to look straight ahead and not respond to Kurt.
Yeah, I was wondering, why are they all just out here in costume?
Did the Juggernaut destroy their clothes?
Maybe the magical moths got to them.
Those leprechauns.
The leprechauns did it.
Yeah, they were ordered to destroy all their belongings.
Well, Kurt doesn't seem too bothered by this. In fact, he seems to have come to enjoy a little bit of trolling now that he's come to have a little self-confidence.
Yeah, look at that smirk on his face. He's fucking with these people.
It might be that has McWhirter so upset, not anti-Irish sentiment after all, as he shouts, "Wrong! The agreement is with Dr. Moira McTaggart of Edinburgh University, not with a bunch of costume freaks."
That's Edinburgh. Thank you very much.
Fuck
Edinburgh.
you. And as for your money, consider it forfeit as penalty for tying up my hovercraft with your fraudulent reservation.
Apologies to any Scottish listeners.
Yes.
We couldn't rein Ripley in anymore.
No.
I've been so good up to this point. I've been so good.
You might as well do voices.
There's a lot going on this page.
Yeah. First, and the art is certainly something.
This is Dave. This is the original art. Let's see. Colossus takes exception to his business practices.
He looks like he's about to, nationalize the boat.
Indeed he does. Comrade, since you intend to keep our money, it only seems fair that we keep your hovercraft boat, yet? They leave the bad captain hanging by the back of his coat from the gutter. Sean seems to actually buy it that it's the costumes McWeirder was upset by. Ah, laddie, I won't be playing any part of ferrying you across the harbor to your deviant sex parties.
Oh, God. Oh, no. That's just gonna be an actual thing at some point. Like, that. You say that, but I know what the, we've seen the
I told you to forget everything you know about Krakoa.
No, not that! We've seen the Hellfire Club!
Oh, right. Never mind.
I don't need to forget things. I already know what the Hellfire Club is about.
Well, we don't really know what they're about. We just know they exist.
And clearly have deviant sex parties.
Yeah.
We know that. That's pretty obvious.
We do know that.
They're dressed for deviant sex parties. What else are they
Or
doing?
alternatively, a masquerade ball.
Or
Either one.
alternatively, Founding Fathers cosplay competition.
Any of the three.
I don't know. I do think the other two turn into deviant sex parties by the end of it.
Oh, probably.
Oh, don't get me wrong. They're doing those other things, but
they've got the lingerie on under the bodice.
Yes. And it's just like strip away coats.
You just pull up 5 layers.
Tearaway jodhpurs?
Yes.
Pull up 5 layers of skirts and you've got on a thong.
That's all tearaway. Just yoink, and it's gone.
They're rich. They can afford to get that specially made.
Of course.
I think it's got snaps like this fucking...
Tearaway pants, yeah.
It seems they're here on account of Moira McTaggart, who the night before called, concerned that she'd left the oven on when she left, and that her employee Jamie Madrox didn't realize it either.
And apparently her money's no good here.
Either that or he's throwing a house party while Mom's away because he's not answering the phone.
Ooh.
Jamie may or may not be a name you guys know. I think Candace stands
I recognize
better
the name
odds.
Madrox.
Yep.
Sorry, got nothing.
You have actually, I know for a fact, encountered him, but...
Maybe so, but I don't know that name.
Yep, so I'm not gonna spoil it. As they grow nearer, though, it seems that something more sinister may be afoot, as Muir Island seems to glow, even in the daylight.
Could this have something to do with Magneto? The title and the cover imply that this might have something to do with Magneto.
No, it was completely unrelated. They just put Magneto on the cover because they're like, he's cool, we haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, but actually it's Daredevil.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a coincidence.
Yeah, this is Daredevil, with his yellow beam powers.
Yeah.
That he's known for.
I mean, he is known for his beams. It seems the boat's not satisfied.
Being in Scotland.
That's his second favorite thing. First thing, beams. Second thing, being in Scotland.
And, he's a normal X-Men villain.
Mm-hmm. All the time. Well, it seems the boat's not just satisfied with going to pieces, though. The ship itself seems to come to life. Its components attacking the X-Men.
I'm shocked.
Wow, no way.
A blade comes spinning at Colossus, who has a brief moment of hesitation.
Oh, God. Well, we're not shocked, but it just dawned on me. We haven't seen him since...
The new teams come out.
So, yeah, they're actually shocked. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
They are.
Well, Colossus is afraid that if he does the only thing that can protect him, he too will be pulled apart. But once he shifts, he's pleased to find that's not the case, briefly forgetting the whole ocean thing.
Yeah, my guy. Also, don't you need to breathe?
Apparently not. He's just like, it's fine.
Okay, have fun in the ocean.
He also says, Lenin be praised.
He does indeed.
That was the state religion.
At least the spatial reasoning of where Storm is makes a little more sense. She catches herself on the wind, heading skyward to scope out her teammates, when a long cable snares itself around her. For a moment it seems that a small jolt of lightning will get her out of the situation, but once the coils tighten, she can't discharge the energy anymore, zapping herself.
What?
Still wrapped tightly in the cable's coils, Storm can't free herself as they tug her seaward, though her plight isn't unobserved. Wolverine dives after her from the wreckage of the boat.
Oh my god, for a second I thought you said C word, as in a word that starts with C, and I was trying to figure out what the fuck you were talking about.
God.
Grab him by the pussy.
No.
I didn't want to say it, but yeah. No, C word as in towards the sea, as in the ocean.
When they're famous, they let you do it. Wolverine dives after her from the wreckage of the boat, taking a big gulp of air before breaching the surface. Even though it seems he was right on it, he's decided there's no other option. Giving her oxygen via kiss was the only choice.
Mouth to mouth.
There was nothing else he could do. Banshee seems to have caught Nightcrawler after some trouble teleporting himself free.
Hold on, his thought bubbles.
He then smashes the pair of them face first into a rogue wave.
I hope this is as much fun, sweets, as it is for me. Logan, and we can call him that because the leprechaun knew his name.
He has been named.
By a leprechaun.
Which you guys also skimmed over somehow.
Well, because we forgot he didn't have a name.
Forgot, I wasn't there for that episode.
That's true.
Logan is apparently having some fun kissing Storm here.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Fair.
Elsewhere, a pensive Magneto observes the plight of the X-Men, musing over his vengeance. He's intrigued by this new team, suspecting they'll be a bit more of a challenge than the teenagers he's used to.
Where's the cameraman?
He stares at the picture on the desk. Pictured within stand he, Moira, and Charles on some earlier, happier day.
I'm really concerned about this rod.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it. You can see, you don't have to worry too much about it.
Yeah, apparently that is, I think, the statue part of a bust that Moira just has for some reason. Like a normal thing, just keeping a metal bust of your ex-boyfriend.
Right?
Totally a normal thing to do.
Well, in what looks like ruins, there's actually a sign that says Professor Charles Xavier.
Well, that's the part of the bust. That's the base of the bust.
Oh. Moira, why did you have a bust of Charles?
Excellent question, but we will not get an answer.
Like, that's not even I have a love interest in you and I'm not gonna share. That's just weird.
It is. It's weirdly obsessive, almost. Pictured in the picture on the desk, Moira, Charles, and Magneto stand together. But despite the happy day, that's not the effect it has on Magneto. He doesn't continue his attack on the X-Men, wanting the satisfaction of taking them down up close and personal. Thinking of those older days, he only sees himself as another of Xavier's tools, just as he wields the X-Men now.
Another of Xavier's exes.
God. We got two of them here.
Yep.
While he's performing this monologue, there is that whole thing with the statue, which he does just shatter to pieces, which I do think is an improvement in Moira's decoration sense. He then angrily fumes over how Charles won't see the truth of things. His dreams of working within the system are a fool's goal. The government can't be counted on to protect them. Their promises mean nothing. The only way to prevent his second people, mutant kind, from suffering his first people's fate in the Holocaust is to bring the world to heel.
And that's not like an exaggeration. And I quote, "I have lived through one Holocaust. Never again."
Yep, this is a later addition to the story, as originally we don't get confirmation on this until, like, X-Men 150.
Ah.
But I think fleshing out Magneto at any point is a good thing.
What, you mean you want him to have character?
I do indeed want
shocked.
him to
I'm
have
shocked
character.
I'm sorry, you mean the bust of Charles Xavier is an addition? That wasn't there originally?
An addition from
No, that was needed. That was new and
it was
needed
necessary.
content.
an addition that was created by someone far more experienced by that point.
Yeah.
I believe, anyway. I might be wrong on this.
Oh god, if this is the original...
Because the text looks... I don't know. I'm not sure. It was marked on the fucking entry which pages they redid, so I don't know one way or another.
I mean, those 3 pages could be new, actually.
Yeah. As the X-Men crawl out of the water, somehow the one having the worst hair day is Sean.
Wolvie's mask is drooping.
It is.
Also, if those 3 pages were added, then they just decided to do some shipping.
They've been deciding to do some shipping straight along here. From the beach, the X-Men peer up at Moira's expansive laboratory, looming up above them on the sands below. For just a moment, Banshee wonders at all that Moira left behind to come play housekeeper, even as he seemingly takes up the part of temporary team leader, ushering the X-Men onward. Piotr leads the way before running face first into a wall of saran wrap and falling back on his rump.
Yeah, that sure is saran wrap. It's invisible, and he bounced off of it.
The wall seems to engulf them, encircling them in a dome and ripping them free from the ground. Without doing anything, they're going to get the bugs on a windshield treatment against the walls of Moira's laboratory. So Sean orders them all to save up their attack on one spot to help them push through the wall. It does the trick, and Banshee makes the mistake of giving Magneto's dramatic ass the perfect setup that he cannot resist. I'm thinking there's a terribly familiar pattern to these attacks, but the only person with the power to pull them off is... And if you think he could ignore that setup, you're a fool, because he bursts open the door, declaring himself Magneto, and going off on a rant about how bad he's going to school them.
Of course.
God.
Of course.
There was no way he was going to be able to resist that.
Look on me, X-Men, for I am your oldest and deadliest foe, master of the Legion of Evil Mutants, and soon to be Lord of all the world. I am Magneto! Okay,
He's
you went to drama school, we get it.
Elsewhere in the facility, oblivious to the drama on the other side of the lab, Moira and Cyclops touch down in apparently the second of 2 blackbirds that Charles Xavier owns.
That's not what a blackbird looks like.
Shut the fuck up, it's modified, we know this, and if you say it again, I swear to God, I'll beat you to death.
I'm going to say it every time it's called that until
Die
they
in a
make
fire.
it right.
Scott's been surly all the way from New York, and not because Moira couldn't just settle for her call to the X-Men to turn off the oven and lock the door. No, he's pissed off that despite having been involved in the X-Men from day one, and being second in command, he'd not only been kept in the dark about Charles's deteriorating mental state, but also the fact that Moira runs an expansive mutant research facility.
Good job, Chuck.
Apparently created to cage mutants deemed a danger to the world.
Ooh, yikes, Moira. Not a good look.
Yeah, someone's getting canceled.
So I guess that's what Charles does with the bad guys when he doesn't lock them up in the basement or brainwipe them.
Someone's getting canceled.
Moira explains that her hope, and indeed Longlife's dream, was to rehabilitate these angry mutants and cure their hate for humanity.
Wait, hold on. So she's not, like, a government. She's just a person. They put people they don't think are okay in her basement, and she does whatever she wants. And...
Well, she and Charles have some kind of professional relationship, even beyond. They got some kind of arrangement here, because...
I don't know.
You'll understand later that there is some kind of connection here.
I don't know, this just feels like, they're evil? Evil things happening here?
Well, it's Chuck, so...
Well, this whole project is something born out of she and Charles's past. Scott and Moira round a corner inside the facility where they find Jamie Madrox, crumpled on the floor but unconscious. As he fully comes to consciousness, it takes a few moments to sweep out the cobwebs before he realizes with alarm that seeing Cyclops means Moira unwittingly lured the X-Men right into Magneto's trap.
And apparently if we want to know why this guy was here, we need to read giant-sized, Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
That is
4?
the first appearance of Jamie. I'm still not sure why he's here, but that was just where he showed up and he couldn't control his stuff, and then they got him sorted out. The Fantastic Four helped. Jamie then fills the pair in on what's happened since Moira headed off for the States, as it's not entirely clear when this happened. Maybe when Eric the Red just happened to be in the neighborhood talking to Black Tom. Who knows? But I guess Moira really didn't lock the door, as Eric waltzed right in the door with his shorty shorts and his new friends. Because for one panel, the shorty shorts return.
Oh.
Oh yeah, and Polaris is there.
Yep, Polaris is there, also in a better outfit than we last saw her.
Alex.
Yep.
Oh wow, look how fat the hell it is.
Days.
They did technically put him there.
He is there.
He looks
Well,
very silly.
No one can say he's not there.
Eric went straight to the cell they locked baby Magneto in ever since he was turned into a baby, which is a thing that happened,
When
and
did
is
that-
also a normal thing to do to a baby.
When did that happen?
Okay, so, yeah. Magneto was a baby because he tried to make an ultra-powerful mutant like he keeps trying to manufacture for some reason, but it backfired because Charles telepathically showed the mutant that Magneto was evil, so it turned him and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants into babies.
When did that happen?
It was in a Defenders comic.
Oh god.
Despite that awesome-sounding description, it was not a good comic.
Okay.
It was so bad that you decided we didn't need to see Magneto get turned into a baby.
I also like how baby Magneto looks exactly the same as old Magneto, down to the white hair.
He was just born with white hair. I mean, that does check out with, like, Quicksilver and Tommy.
It
True.
does, actually. It's weird, but...
Anyway, yeah, so...
It could just be a really light platinum blonde.
Okay.
Locking a baby in a cell is also a normal thing to do to a baby.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. So, he zapped him back to an adult and Magneto was fine? Okay, first things first. Eric the Red has the ability to age people.
Apparently. He shows up in his shorty shorts, goes to baby Magneto's cell, hits him with a beam of no more baby, and then he puts his pants back on for a business meeting.
But second thing, Magneto is fine now.
He maintained his memories through this experience,
Yes,
which
yeah.
is what's confusing to me.
Yes, he's able to have a business meeting with the man.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, like, when he got turned into a baby, did he just get physically changed into a baby, like, physically regressed, or did he, was there, like, time bullshit involved?
Because-
He got physically turned into a baby. I'm assuming that his brain kind of de-aged a little bit, so he wasn't working on, like, Magneto Standard. He was working on Baby Magneto Standards.
And Baby Magneto Standard has a stuffed toy.
Yeah, Baby Magneto is still down to play with stuffed animals.
And not rule the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
No, he's just gonna rule this stuffed monkey.
I guess that's a monkey. It's not a very good monkey.
I think it's a monkey.
It could be a kind of monkey. I just now want
The clothes actually burst off of him when he grew.
I do kind
really
of
I
want.
appreciate that, actually,
But-
that detail.
I do also kind of want X-Men babies.
X-babies.
Okay,
Versus
I'll,
A-babies, may chance?
I'll keep that in mind.
I mean, I was just thinking X-Men babies to the same tune as Muppet babies, but
He is also now, he's at his youngest, sexiest self because he just got aged back to, like, Magneto at the peak of his power.
wait, are you saying he's been de-aged?
Yes.
That's not a thing that's going to happen again.
Never.
Not to anyone here.
Anyway, I guess they brought Jamie along to this meeting since he's telling Moira and Scott what happened.
Yeah, he must have been. So,
And they also did this instead of just throwing him in the baby cell.
they let him watch as Eric the Red takes a very business-like pose while Magneto.
Let me hear your proposition, Mr. Magneto.
Magneto here is
Even though I'm the one here with a proposition.
where Magneto is giving some kind of evil presentation? Because that's what he's doing.
His evil PowerPoint.
Yes, he's giving his evil PowerPoint that he somehow must have made as a baby?
Hang on, I need to put together a presentation for you, Mr. the Red.
Yes. And through that we shall destroy the X-Men and rule the world!
Yep. So anyway, Eric's like, you should fight the X-Men. And he's like, wow, I'm so glad you asked.
A thing
Like he wasn't going to do that, obviously, already.
thing Magneto would have never thought of.
Scott probably feels pretty nauseous, though, as he realizes that for some reason, he never bothered to teach the new X-Men how to fight Magneto, because Magneto has always stayed taken care of in the past whenever the Magneto problem is solved.
Scott, you know the Magneto problem is never solved. We've been over this one before. He keeps coming back. What made you think that since the old team had retired, the new team would never face him ever again? Did you hear?
He was gone. He died. There's nothing that...
Did you hear that Magneto had gotten turned into a baby?
He got turned into a baby. What else could happen?
Well,
He's a baby now.
Clearly something could happen.
Well, Scott rushes off into the facility, searching for the X-Men, calling behind himself for Moira and Jamie to ready the jet to take back off again. Back with Magneto, and probably set to Benny Hill music, we have Wolverine and Colossus, both trying to fight Magneto.
Good job, guys. That's
with predictable results.
So what you're saying is that this is the most unbalanced Pokemon battle of all time.
Yep, Magnetos them.
Of course he does. Guys.
Lightning versus steel type.
Yeah,
It's electric type, isn't it? Not lightning, but whatever.
Yeah, electric type just kind of destroying steel type over here.
Storm charges up a lightning bolt to send Magsy's way, but with his magnetism, the mutant maestro summons up enough interference to knock Aurora's lightning back at her for the second time this issue.
I can actually believe that, as opposed to his ability to mind control people's brains with magnetic abilities.
Motivating our sensitive Russian himbo in a big brain play to steal back up and throw a crumpled ball of metal Maggie's way.
Okay, why aren't people shipping this anymore?
I don't know. Kurt is still up, but he's not having a good time. Wherever he teleports, Magneto sends the ceiling crashing down over his head, finally pinning him and leaving their interim leader the last one standing. Magneto talks a pretty big talk about how Banshee can't bring him down, and the Irishman challenges him to walk the walk, screaming the ground out from underneath the villain. But unfortunately, Mags catches himself with his powers.
Cheater!
Banshee's got a lot more experience than most of the rookie X-Men, and so he's able to avoid Magneto's immediate counter. The two come head to head, but before they clash, a black cloud forms up around him before sealing tight around Banshee. A shell formed up of the very iron particles in the wreckage around them.
What the fuck?
Wow.
He's dead.
That's,
He's just dead.
Hey, Magneto, that's, actually really talented of you, and I think you just killed him.
Uh-huh.
He then gloats about how he beat all of the X-Men. On cue, Cyclops catches him off guard, blasting him from the doorway. He's able to deflect the blast, but only just, and it taxes him to do so. Scott takes advantage of the brief lull, coming to Banshee's rescue, very precisely breaking a hole in the iron shell to free him. He orders the X-Men to pull back, which Logan absolutely hates.
Hey, Logan, Magneto can just toss you around casually?
No, we can beat him! I can beat him!
Yeah, okay,
Just
Scott!
I
just need to get close enough!
Yes, and those claws will definitely reach! This time!
I'll get him this time, boss! Scott shouts down Logan's protest, threatening to blast him and drag him back to the fucking plane himself.
You know what? Let him try Magneto's powers one more time. See what happens. He'll live, probably.
It's enough to get Wolverine to go along with it, though he grumbles all the way. Only once they're safely tucked aboard and screaming their way back to the States does Scott explain that this was all just meant to lure away all of Charles's protectors, and they have to get home. Wolverine doesn't like that answer, sulking about how he made them cowards, something Magneto also very much seems to think as he revels in his victory.
Leaving Magneto to triumph.
The final pieces fall into place on the chessboard. In unknown space, Captain Christopher hangs in a moment of nauseous anticipation with the crew of the starship Starjammer, worrying of the Emperor causing a possible apocalypse. In another ship, a long journey finally approaches its close, as the alien pilot, the Emperor's sister, descends through the atmosphere, ship running on fumes, when we decide to ape on Star Wars. An Imperial cruiser attacking the princess, only an atmosphere away from her planned escape. The problem with this being that this came out before Star Wars.
Oh my god. They stole from Star Wars.
Well, it's a weird coincidence more than anything, because Star Wars came out, in May.
From the trailer, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know what the original Star Wars
You
trailer
know,
was like.
I don't actually have a fact on that for some reason. Down below, the Earthlings go about their business, oblivious to the space opera playing out not more than a few dozen miles above their heads. Charles Xavier has finally returned Jean home to her apartment with Misty, and her parents too have come for the happy occasion. Outside, there are a few more celebrants. Eric, lackeys Havoc and Polaris in tow, watch the happy reunion, and we hang in suspense as we move on to the B story from Classic X-Men 12, but before we do that, I'm going to get you guys to rate it now so that we're not all trying to run on, hey, what happened, when we get to the end.
Oh boy.
I liked when you did that, so I decided I'm taking it.
Okay.
Fair.
I think that's fair. I feel like I blinked and missed that comic.
Yeah.
It was fine.
So...
It
Pretty
happened.
generic.
So, let's see, what did it do? The comic...
Made Magneto not a baby anymore.
Yes, that... But anything could have made him not a baby.
And it let the new X-Men fight Magneto.
Yes.
I'll give it a 3. It was mid.
I think the thing that it actually did to move the rest of the story forward was get Scott away from...
Yeah, those last few pages, honestly, I may be being partial here, but I think the story did get better once Scott showed up, so we started to get... Because we started to get a little more context.
Oh, you would say that, you Scott lover.
That's not what I'm even... I'm just the story kind of deepened at that point because there was more going on.
Scott
You know what I
lover.
think? You know what I think would make this comic better?
What?
If Thor and Loki were there.
Yeah, I think that. I agree.
Thor and Loki are there for some reason.
Bite me.
And don't forget their arch nemesis, Daredevil.
If I were rating it in context for everywhere else going on in the Marvel Universe, I would probably give this a 3, but for Chris, I'm going to give this a 2.5 because he can do better.
Ooh, ouch. I wasn't for a Scott lover, I didn't expect you to rate it so badly.
I like Scott, I'm glad he's back, but, I mean, that was just kind of a wet fart of a story.
It was.
Yeah, it was kind of nothing.
It felt like a weird extension to a story that had already happened.
And it also felt like kind of, I'll give it credit that it was kind of a breath in before everything goes to shit.
It doesn't help that this Eric the Red thing started 10 issues ago, and then we had a weird thing in the middle, and then another thing in the middle, and then we're coming back to Eric the Red.
Yeah, we're finally back to Eric the Red, and
we had the whole fucking Phoenix saga, and then the thing in Ireland since we saw Eric the Red.
Yeah, that's what, a year? It's been a year in real time since we saw Eric the Red last? That's
No, we saw him last time because he was in the last page of the story.
We saw him on the Zoom call.
That doesn't count. I mean, him as an actual active character doing things.
But what are you rating it?
I think this is mostly unnecessary too.
Alright. We move on to the B story from Classic X-Men 12, written by Chris Claremont, penciled and inked by John Bolton, colored by Glynis Wein, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski. Gonna have to put a big ol' warning on this one because we're going to be touching on the Holocaust here.
Oh boy.
So anyone who's not up for that right now might want to try back in about 15 minutes. We're going to try to remember to put a timestamp in the show description for listeners at home. Moonlight streams through the window of a Paris hotel, casting itself over Magneto's slumbering form, because I just have to keep calling him Magneto because he doesn't have a fucking name.
Unfortunately, he doesn't
Until he
have a
gets
name.
named by a leprechaun in the next issue.
I mean, worse things have happened.
Fresh off his triumph in Scotland, the world has finally caught wind of his escape. And while the media surely whip the threat up into a frenzy, Magneto slumbers, but it's not a peaceful sleep. With his rejuvenation, his mind is also at its sharpest, and with that, his memories of the camp return in his sleep, vivid as ever. And he's cast back to Auschwitz in the waning days of the war, as the Allied forces begin closing in. Seeking to kill all witnesses to their savagery, the Nazi guards set to their grisly task of eliminating the remaining population of prisoners in the camp. One of them, a frail young woman called Magda, and another, a far younger Magneto. As one of the guards closes in on Magda, readying to gun her down, Magneto intervenes, bashing the guard in the back of the head with an improvised weapon of some sort. I can't actually figure out what it
Looks like a 2x4.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, but I wasn't sure.
Or longer.
Far in the future, Mags tosses and turns, dreaming of he and Magda's escape. Huddled together in the snow with only the heat of a tiny fire to keep them from freezing, Magda feels hopeless and afraid. Surely the guards will come find them. She can't keep her food down, and everyone she knows and loves but for him is dead. But he urges Magda to carry on, to not let them win. They've made it this far, and they'll make it further. And eventually dawn does come, both over the horizon, and after a hard scrabble for survival for both he and Magda. Traveling south into the Carpathian Mountains, and starting a new life together, they also start a family, complete with a young daughter, Anya.
Oh, I was kind of expecting her to die, to be perfectly honest.
Nope, the young family was happy and at peace in their new home, but Mags has never been a man for quiet contentment, and so he brought them to the Ukrainian city of Vinnytsia.
Wow, Ukraine.
Yep, and he came here seeking higher education. But that was going to take time, and so the trio settled into an inn for the night, while Mags headed off to find some of the plentiful construction work left behind in the aftermath of the war.
Ukraine is a place to go.
And find it he does. But at the end of a hard day's work, he's outraged to find his pay cut by over half. The boss taking a generous cut as a commission.
Ooh.
He snarls back that the man had no right, even as the boss man effectively shakes him down, threatening to keep him from future work. Furious, and with thoughts of his family on his mind, a pry bar rises up behind Magneto before whizzing right past the foreman's head, burying itself in a wooden crate. Shaken, the boss finally hands over the rest of Mag's pay, even as Magneto himself wanders off into the city back towards the inn, and with no other explanation for the incident other than that he must have somehow been responsible for the tool's flight.
Okay, I just want to point out that the boss seems way more accustomed to be threatened with floating crowbars than Magneto is accustomed to making crowbars float. That's, the communist boss here is just like, no need to make threats, comrade. No need for violence. I'm a reasonable man. You made your point. Here, take it. Every ruble you've earned. All you've earned. And he's just, that's it. That's all he is. He's about.
They're just built out of sterner stuff.
I mean, yeah, he's, how did you do, holy Peter, how did you do that? But then he just moves on. How often,
given what we've seen in Ukraine, this doesn't even seem that far off.
This man has a I bet you it's the third time this week this man has been threatened with some kind of floating thing.
There's just something in the water. That's definitely going to be a hard one to explain to his wife. It's on his mind as he closes in, but is quickly replaced by nothing but alarm, as when he returns he finds the inn ablaze. A crowd stands gathered around the burning inn, but among all the faces, none of them are Anya or Magda. Spotting the innkeeper, Mags grabs him by the shirt collar, demanding to know the whereabouts of his wife and child, only to be struck with the horrifying news that his family is still inside.
Ooh.
After everything he's been through, Mags has no fear, running into the building burning to keep his promise to always protect his family. Battling his way through the blaze, he finds Magda relatively quickly, but Anya is still trapped upstairs. He promises to go get their daughter, urging her off to safety, but that's when the ceiling above them begins to crumble. Flaming debris rains down around them, but Magda and her husband are safe, as his powers flare up once more, forming a shield around them. Magda stares at him in confusion, but it's not as if he has any others to give than, yeah, I guess I did do that. He brings his wife to safety, readying to go back in after Anya. And that's when he hears his daughter's voice, calling desperately for him from the window. There's nowhere else for her to flee from the fire. He tries desperately to conjure up that same power that he used to rescue himself and his wife. But just as he readies to move in, around him, that's when the authorities grab him by the biceps. Anya screams from the window as Mags is clubbed, just begging to let him rescue his daughter. The corrupt foreman steps in to crouch next to him, rubbing in his arrest for his getting greedy. But Mags has no care for his own fate, just begging they save his daughter. But no one does. Finally, a flaming figure falls from the window, and then Magneto breaks. Screaming with fury, that power crackles up around him throughout the crowd and leaving the world, and I don't have a good explanation for why the world is left in darkness, but it is dark.
I think he probably blacks out. That's probably what's represented.
That makes more sense.
I don't think he's aware of what he does next.
Nah. When the pyrotechnics stop, there's just a man left crouching in the street, surrounded by corpses, including that of his daughter. The only other person left untouched by his onslaught is a horrified Magda. It's nearly too much for her to even take in, and when she looks to her husband once more, she only sees a murderer and a monster. He asks her to come with him and lay their daughter to rest, but instead she flees into the night, wanting nothing to do with him. In the present, Magneto snaps bolt upright in bed, still screaming after Magda for a brief moment. It takes him that time to get his bearings, remembering what was then and what is now. A scent of smoke lingered in both places, though. Scent's a strong memory trigger, and he follows his nose to the window.
Wherever it goes. To a bowl of Froot Loops.
Yep.
Not quite. From his window, he sees the building across the way engulfed in flame, a mother calling desperately from the window, her child clinging to her side. He steps away from the window, telling himself it's no business of his. Even though the firefighters won't arrive in time, they're just humans, and his business is with saving his own people.
Oh boy.
The young mother tries to reassure her daughter in French that they'll be okay. She too seems to know that the firefighters aren't going to make it here in time, cooking up a desperate plan to leap from the window, hoping she can at least cushion the blow and allow her little girl to survive. When the wall comes crumbling in, it seems like the end has come. But rather than the end, it's a rescuer. Magneto wraps a force field around the mother and daughter, safely carrying them through the wall and down to the street below. He may not have been able to bring his daughter back to him, but a desperate young Frenchman down below will never have to know that pain. Magneto tells him to pass the tale of his good deed on, to let the world know that Magneto chose to rescue them, before flying back off through the smoke once more. Finn.
See, that's some good characterization right there.
Yeah.
I'm just giving that a 5.
That was pretty good.
That's straight up a 5. Just yeah.
Yeah.
Are
You good?
I'm okay. I'm
I knew
feeling
that
things.
was. It's a heavy one for sure.
Especially for someone who is also Jewish.
Yeah. That's why I asked if you're okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Okay.
All right.
Besides, I'm pretty sure a lot of the people working on this were also.
Yes, indeed.
Well,
this has a feel of familiarity to me.
All right. Well, we'll move on to something a little lighter for X-Men 105.
Wait.
Yeah, it looks super light.
Yeah, this is definitely lighter.
It's lighter, I promise.
It's lighter as in it's on fire.
And also
it's casting light.
It's lighter as in we're not talking about the Holocaust anymore.
That's true.
True. We're just doing Phoenix stuff. You know, no Holocaust here, just Phoenix.
We're really not allowed to have the back covers anymore. All right.
That's actually a Blackbird.
Yep, but we're gonna go back.
They redesigned the plane to make it realistic.
Must have had a little.
They got
bit
all your
better.
letters, John.
Yay! They got my letters from the future.
It's written by Chris Claremont, pencils by Dave Cochran, inks by Bob Layton, colors by Andy Yankus, and letters by Tom Orzechowski. We're using the classic X-Men version, of course, so this is featuring some pages with pencils by Bob Layton, Colors by Evelyn Stein, and letters by Diana Albers.
Same pencils.
Yep. We've got some new names again. We've got a new Bob. There have been several Bobs before him, but Bob Layton is a new addition to the crew.
Don't worry, eventually we run out of Bobs.
First off, Bob has a website, and the header is one of the most amazing things I've seen in a while.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I love it.
Did he? Bob Layton, what was he?
He was the
Penciler.
Penciler.
It depends. He was the penciler in the later part and the inker in the first part.
Oh, so he could take credit for, like, all of this stuff.
Yep. So he's been here in both parts.
And he can only draw one face.
Well, I mean, he's a comic book artist.
He's far from the only artist to have that issue.
And like, he's kind of only got one pose.
At least in this picture.
Yeah.
Well, we do have like 3 guys doing it, though.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. We have 3 guys doing the same pose, and this is his header.
This is only where it starts with Bob.
Oh no.
Because Bob is a wild ride. Some of these people, all you'll find is like a blurry picture of them strolling through the woods like fucking Bigfoot. Bob has stories for days.
Boy.
Bob started reading comic books at age 4 because his older sister was sick of reading them to him over and over. Bob accidentally got a job at Marvel while delivering the work of another artist he was apprenticing for when he heard John Romita desperately searching for an inker, bit off more than he could swallow by offering to ink the whole book, and had to pull together a bunch of his friends to help him ink
Oh
it.
no!
Bob helped create a comic book company that eventually sold for $65 million.
Okay, good job, Bob.
Bob's website states him to be a creator, writer, artist, designer, and entrepreneur.
All technically correct.
Bob is a lot.
Bob seems like he'd be cool to hang out with.
Bob seems awesome.
Yeah.
Diana Albers, on the other hand, existed.
God damn it.
So she's that cryptid we were talking about
Women
earlier.
in comics.
Women in
comics. We are super special, so Chris decided that we get 4 prologues.
Oh boy.
And yeah, that's a Blackbird. It's not perfect. It shouldn't have quite as long as a
cockpit, but
yeah,
it's modified.
But
because
basically,
it has a crew compartment.
but it's no longer the stubby Blackbird we've been seeing.
Yep, it's just been a work in progress.
Yeah.
You draw it over and over, you get better, right?
Well, also, I'm guessing they got better reference pictures.
Probably. In the first, the Blackbird soars high over the earth, headed for home, while Logan gripes about letting Magneto win. In the second, we close in on the alien pilot on her final approach to Earth. She notices the Blackbird high in its flight on the edge of the atmosphere. Her eyes follow it along a path similar to her own, and she wonders in this last moment if this desperate gamble to stop her brother will pay off. If it doesn't, it could be the end of everything. The torpedoes from her pursuer continue to fire entirely too near to her, though for now, she's still intact. Our third prelude finds Charles Xavier overcome by another of his episodes,
God.
racked with pain and sweats. Jane worries over him, offering to cancel the get-together with her folks and Misty, but Charles waves her off before Jane telekinetically hauls his wheelchair up to the stair landing, and with a bit of a flourish.
Hey Charles, that's a lot of sweat.
That's a fucking Miss
flop
Frizzle
sweat.
looking ass fucking outfit she's got going here.
Yeah, kinda.
In Prelude 4, Eric the Red finally gives our alien pilot a name, Princess Lilandra. He's mostly pretty much just mustache twirling about how he's gonna kill Xavier, and then who will Lilandra ask for help?
My cat's paws are in place. My game already begun. Earth.
No power on Earth.
Nah, I skipped a line. Dang it.
So remember how Eric was lurking outside Jane's window last issue?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not doing that anymore.
Good.
Okay.
I'm so glad.
So, weird thought. Is it just me, or does it seem like Jean is very close to Misty lately?
It's
Why
a thought.
Why is that weird? They're roommates.
I don't know. I feel like...
Don't worry, though. Those vibes will continue.
Okay, good. That's
Jane is a fucking rampant bisexual.
Because I felt like Misty was spending an awful lot of time with Jean's parents in a non-roommate capacity.
That's... Okay, let's see. Instead, as the X-Men touch down at the mansion, they find Eric conveniently lurking in the hangar bay. Too convenient.
Just there, huh?
Just hanging around.
Hey, Eric, wear the outfit properly at least.
Right. Take the leggings off, coward.
He is a coward.
The X-Men take the bait, charging in to get him back for all the trouble he's been causing.
The bait of him being in their home.
Yup. Pleads.
Casually.
Eric pleads that he comes in peace, which Logan rightly takes as a bunch of bull honky. As the show was put on for the benefit of Firelord, former Herald of Galactus, and idiot who has no context for what is going on.
I know this fool.
But he thinks he's got it figured out. And he's not gonna let those ruffians beat up on this innocent man.
Yeah, Firelord's kind of an idiot. I know that about him.
He's very orange.
He does say later that he fought Thor, so I guess I understand where you know him from. Eric's useful idiot quickly gets to work mopping up the X-Men, despite their best attempts to stop him, complete with a windstorm and a fastball special, while Eric deviously rubs his palms together on the sidelines.
Slay them all!
With the X-Men all down for the count, Firelord finally sets down, helping the bondage Viking to his feet.
Yeah, we're just leaning into that, aren't we?
Even as Eric continues to weave his story, telling him how Xavier's mutants were going to kill him. He somehow used Havoc and Polaris to lure him down to the mansion, or something. When asked why they were so willing to kill him, Eric explains that when he, an explorer, came to Earth, he found the X-Men trying to take over the world. And when he tried to get in the way, the X-Men turned their attention on him.
Of course.
And when Eric led him to the mansion, it all clicked into place for Firelord. And now that they're friends, he swears to kill Charles Xavier. Now that they're buddies.
Firelord is one of those guys who just needs a boss. Like, he can't really make decisions on his own.
It's just kind of an idiot. Well, we move along to a cute little riff on Star Trek by the way of Spacetucky, as we find ourselves on the bridge of the Shi'ar starship responsible
Holy shit!
for the photon torpedoes.
Welcome to the bridge of the original Enterprise, everybody!
Uh-huh.
It's even got the goddamn sliding door and the curved walls!
It does.
Which, funny enough, actually became an inspiration for nuclear submarines.
Interesting, I love it.
Yeah, the U.S. Navy actually talked to Star Trek about,
We owe so much of the fucking present we live in to fucking Star Trek.
But I mean, these uniforms are so Star Trek.
This guy's pose is very Star Trek.
It is. In fact, it's not just him.
He's
it's also
in green.
It's also the not Uhura who's in the background.
Well, the captain asks his science officer for a rundown on the planet as he orders the helmsman to keep them close on
Class
her tail.
M! You can't just... This is...
He orders him to keep on their tail. Prime directive be damned.
He does say prime directive!
But it's seen.
Where did I go? What happened? What did I do?
Oh,
Someone must have sent a letter.
Well, don't worry about the prime directive, because there is no worry. As First Officer Lady Juggalo Spock finally gets on Earth's...
I believe that's called the Juggalette.
She even has...
I don't think that's correct, actually.
If she puts her face into this tube, she'll be doing the Spock thing entirely. I hope you know that. Wait, is she a science officer?
Yes, she is.
And she's wearing blue.
Yep.
God damn it, they stole the... Okay, so Kirk tended to wear these green outfits a lot.
Correct.
And the red didn't mean what red means now.
Right.
So you had a lot of red shirts on the bridge.
Correct.
But they were not necessarily the same. This whole command... I'm a big fan of Star Trek.
Anyway, Juggalette Spock finally gets Earth's Wikipedia page open. Up at the top of the page, it seems like it's all green lights. Earth's already had plenty of alien contact. It's not a big deal.
Oh, well,
But then she scrolls down the page and finds the paragraph where it says, Earth has dealt with Galactus 4 fucking times!
And beaten him back!
I mean, obviously, since it's still there.
Spacetucky!
Maybe don't mess with this planet. The Prime Directive is fine.
And
Because,
Alien Kirk is like, what?
Sure, we can interact with them because it doesn't violate the Prime Directive, but they might
Do
kill
we
us.
want to?
They might kill us.
The ship fires off a few last photon torpedoes before gunning it in the other direction.
And they've decided they're in the wrong neighborhood. They don't want to die. They want to live.
Lady Spock, are the doors locked?
God.
Earth is a bad neighborhood if you're an upstanding space-exploring civilization like these guys.
They do finally have some luck hitting the ship, and they're not even fucking here to see it.
God.
Lalandra runs for the teleporter exactly as the torpedoes hit home, engulfing the scout ship. Jean is playing hostess for Charles, her parents, and her roommate, Misty Knight, as they explain how they just happened into this roommate thing.
Oh.
Both of them were touring it at the same time, and since it was too expensive for either of them on their own, and they hit it off, they decided to give it a shot.
Did they now?
Yeah, they decided to do that over coffee.
Did they now?
Normal things.
The Greys are just glad to see their daughter finally making some other friends.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, everything has been zeroing in on this apartment, and now we must make an introduction between the fan and the shit. Shit meet fan.
And Misty Knight, sorry.
Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Grey.
And then, sorry, Misty Knight, this is exactly what it looks like.
Energy crackles in the corner of the room, finally resolving into Princess Lalandra, who remains upright only long enough to unfasten her helmet before collapsing.
Chuck knows her name.
Yep.
I guess he's been connected to her for a while, so whatever. Jean and Misty help remove the princess from her spacesuit, laying her down on the couch.
Ooh, that outfit, though.
It is a little saucy, isn't
Mm-hmm.
it? She's got the bodycon. She's got the bodycon leotard, the thigh-high boots,
Oh my god.
With fishnet inserts.
with fishnet inserts. She got the titty window.
Yep.
Oh my
Lalandra's
god.
got it going on. I guess she's been waiting for this meeting, so...
This fated meeting with someone she doesn't know.
Things are finally starting to calm down again, when suddenly the wall blows in. Firelord stands at the window, catching Jean's apartment on fire all around him, announcing that he's come for Princess Lalandra and Charles Xavier.
Wait, Misty pulls a gun.
Yep, because the vibe she was getting is that gun was going to be really useful in this situation.
Yes, but I love the fact that Misty pulls a gun.
I mean, she is a cop, right?
Okay, but just imagine if she shot Firelord and it worked.
That would be really funny. That would be amazing if she just shot him and he was just like,
And then he goes down and he dies, and, well, good job. Problem solved, I guess.
Great job, Misty. Let's make out.
I mean...
Says Jean, I mean.
Well, they're never getting the security deposit back now,
Yeah,
and Jean is pissed.
Well, of course they're not getting the security deposit. They're probably going to be sued for damaging the building.
She changes her outfit to the Phoenix in a flash of light and knocks the former Herald right back through the stupid hole he made.
Well, I mean, at this point, what's a little more damage?
Firelord and Phoenix duke it out above the streets of New York, talking, or rather yelling out this little misunderstanding fight. What's your deal? I'm gonna get Xavier because he's trying to take over the world! What the fuck are you talking about?
No, he doesn't want to take over the world. He just wants to be comfortable in it while manipulating a large chunk of the upper leadership subtly. He doesn't want to take it over. That's someone else's shtick.
Right, because he's part of the Illuminati.
Yes.
Literally, yes.
Yes. It's about manipulating.
I mean, I don't think he is yet, but he will be.
No, that's not true, because he mentions Krakoa when he's at that first meeting.
The Illuminati is set in the distant past.
So he is already a member of the Illuminati.
So yeah, at this point, he's been manipulating the world leaders for maybe a couple years.
So Illuminati real, guys. The creators of the comic briefly cameo, explaining what's happening in the comic from inside the comic, putting them a little too close to the action for comfort.
Wait. Also, I saw sound effect. What?
Yep. See, they're narrating it. He's talking about what's going to happen in the comic, and while he's saying it, the thing that he's saying is happening around him.
Guys, this is a little serious for you to do self-inserts like that?
They do that a lot, Ned.
How about one of these times you just get all the writers killed or something? Let's see what happens then.
This whole Phoenix thing is definitely a hitch in Eric's plans, but it does mean that the Phoenix is busy, and since the X-Men are down, that means he can finally get to Xavier.
Jean's parents must be like, okay.
Wait, your roommate has a gun?
I
think that's the least of their concerns.
Right? And aren't we in 70s New York? So
I don't know. I think that'd be funny if that was their biggest concern.
Right. After all of this. Lilandra is only just coming to when Eric, now named as Shikari, comes onto the scene. Misty still has her gun out and still doesn't use it, since Shikari blasts her first.
Damn it!
Shikari is apparently the Emperor's agent after Lilandra ordered him exiled. The Emperor wants Lilandra home so he can kill her, and what the Emperor wants, the Emperor gets.
Wow, I can't believe I was wrong about Eric being Magneto.
You were, in fact. And since the lot of them stand unconscious from the blast, Eric gets to work, rigging up a Stargate on the roof. He rigged up this Stargate well in advance of the other one.
Okay, I guess he can just throw together Stargate parts.
Oh, I think it was part of his whole plan, so I'm sure he had them on hand.
So he probably brought a Stargate kit.
Right.
The X-Men are arriving in...
the Fantastic Four's car?
Yeah, it's pretty suspicious, so when the X-Men close in on it by hoverjet, they zero in pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Eric sees them and gets off of shots, disabling the hoverjet and setting off a chain reaction in the engines. Just before it explodes, Scott orders them all to bail out, landing us in crash number 6 for Mr. Summers, hot on the tail of number 5, 2 episodes back.
Oh no, not again!
Okay.
Wah, wah, wah.
Stop flying Air Summers. If you stop flying Air Summers, you'll stop crashing.
Okay, but consider, he's so good at crashing that everybody lives every time.
Oh, yes, because that's so much better for the trauma it's causing.
I think it's better than being dead.
Yeah.
No, the bills for therapy, unless you have...
Charles has a degree in psychiatry,
yes,
I think.
Because you want him messing around in your mind.
He's already doing it, so while he's there...
I mean, he's probably just going to delete parts he doesn't want them to remember.
Where the
Wish
fuck
I could do that sometimes. That was kind of dark anyway.
Yeah, dark.
Now that the X-Men are falling, Eric just gets back to work, presumably whistling while he works on the Stargate. Mm-hmm. Jane continues walloping on Firelord before finally getting bored and chucking him all the way to Jersey.
Where now he's Jersey's problem.
Yep. Finally, Charles awakens enough to telepathically reach out to her, filling her in on everything going on with the Emperor. She turns back for her apartment, even as part of her longs to finish Firelord off. She tries to shut that down, though it definitely concerns her.
It's fine.
The X-Men have pulled off their usual, oh god, we're suddenly falling through the air maneuver, with the complication that no one actually knows where the hell Kurt is.
He teleported to a rooftop, it's fine.
Doesn't he preserve momentum?
Well, you want to know where Kurt is? He's playing fun circus games, alley-ooping and twirling his way down to the roof below off flagpoles and antennas and things of the like.
Love this guy.
He is on his way down when he sees Eric activating the Stargate with Lalandra gathered in his arms. He uses his momentum to dive at Eric, trying to stop him before he makes it through, but he's just a moment too late, falling through the Stargate just an instant after Eric deactivated it behind him.
I was kind of expecting something a little more dramatic. I blame a movie and a lot of seasons of a television show by the same name.
When Jean touches down on the roof, her parents are slightly overwhelmed.
What? Overwhelmed? I'm shocked. I'm shocked that they would be overwhelmed from all of this.
Mrs. Grey frets, trying to take in everything happening, as Mr. Grey demands Charles tell him what's going on. Charles is also yelling,
Chuck, you're looking scary.
Furious that they couldn't do anything to save Lalandra. But the game's not over just yet. With the barest effort, Jean channels the power of the Phoenix into the Stargate, opening it once more. Scott takes a moment to both marvel at his girlfriend and to question the risky move. At Xavier's insistence, the X-Men head through the gate.
Oh boy.
Despite the protests of her mother, Jean is fast behind them, not one to watch her friends walk into danger without her. And then the gate falls inert once more.
And it goes poot.
It does indeed go poot.
Poot. Poot.
And this is happening just as Firelord shows back up on the roof, demanding to know where Phoenix is.
Hey, Misty, shoot him.
Yeah, the one time Misty doesn't have her fucking gun out.
Next, where no X-Men has gone before.
Alright, so how do we want to rate this one?
It was better.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
I'll give it a 4.
It is a little, nonsensical, though.
I think part of that is the fact that we jumped back into the Eric the Red story, like you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Suddenly we're back here.
And then there's Star Trek.
And suddenly Firelord is there.
And there are 4 prologues.
Yeah.
We could have eased into this a little better.
I do like, though, that all these threads are finally paying off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things about Chris, because one of the things he's known for is, like, something called the Claremont Kudzu.
The Claremont Kudzu.
Yep, because he leaves threads hanging all over the place, and that just gives him the opportunity to come pluck, pluck, pluck.
No, I'm pretty sure kudzu is a hostile and dangerous plant
But
that no one enjoys.
No. But here's the thing, because eventually there are so many threads hanging around
that you die because it's surrounding your body and it's sucking life out of you.
Correct.
If you're a tree, that's something that really happens.
Correct. I'm with you. I'm at a 4.
I don't know. This feels so sudden to me, and
It does, but I feel like all those threads tied together very well.
I don't know yet.
Well,
It's a start, but it's like too much of a start.
we have some more story coming next time.
I'm gonna give it a 3 for now, but I might change my mind on how this goes.
Alright, a pending 3. We can move on to the B story from Classic X-Men 13, written by Chris Claremont, penciled and inked by John Bolton, colored by Petra Scottesi, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski. I'm not entirely sure when this takes place, though it's definitely after Jean's return from space. She sits on a darkened beach, cast in the light of a small bonfire, listening to the waves rushing on the shore as she stares into the flames, trying to come to terms with the new her, the rush of sensations that come with every moment. She's not alone on the beach. Apparently, she came along on this trip with Misty, Danny Rand, and Colleen Wing.
Oh, never mind.
Though the latter two have disappeared for the moment,
off
for a midnight snack.
I mean, given Danny Rand's reputation,
Is Danny Rand also a hoe?
Yes. So that snack, yeah.
God.
It's been a while.
Cringe.
I'm not afraid of being cringe.
But
that just makes me stronger than you. Misty lies relaxed in the surf, feeling the waves lap at her feet. But her thoughts, her dreams, are far less peaceful. In her mind, the city seems harsh and unforgiving, and her friend Colleen looks to her, calling her to be a daughter of the dragon. Her heart isn't fully in it. Part of it rests with Danny as well. With Danny, she feels soft and joyful, and she feels herself being torn in two between them. Suddenly, the world around her dreaming self bursts into flame. A voice booming out, asking where it fits in any of this.
So, okay, Misty is in the middle of a love triangle, and then
quadrangle.
And then the Phoenix is like, what about me? Guys, we have to go back for a second, because that's a love thing. That's almost...
It's a love triangle, we'll go with that.
Yeah, that's almost certainly some kind of love triangle.
And Phoenix says, well, if you're at it...
Even if I'm not sure that they're... Even if I think he might be hoeing about over here.
Hoeing with Colleen.
Yeah.
God.
I think Misty...
Well, that's part of the triangle.
Well, yeah, it's a triangle.
Oh, God. Well,
triangles have 3 sides, John.
Yes, no.
Y'all should just resolve this into just being a thing.
No, you don't get it. I'm saying that he is in a triangle, she is in a different triangle, and now we've just made this even more complicated.
Welcome to what happens once you talk to any of the X-Men.
Yeah. You just enter the polycule.
You enter
the greater Seattle area.
No, the greater Manchester area polycule.
At Misty's questioning, the flame shrinks and resolves into Jean Grey, saying she's a friend who needs a friend. But Misty pulls back, suddenly awakening with the start on the beach, crying, "No!"
Okay, we get it. You're having trouble with the gay thoughts.
Misty finally returns to the fire, finally ready to broach the subject of her concerns over Jean. She notes how, since her return, Jean has been different, which Jane flags as the understatement of the year. Misty dwells on a question Jean asked while in the hospital. How she would feel if she died and brought herself back to life. Misty puts 2 and 2 together, and Jane confirms her suspicions, express that is exactly what happened to her, expressing her own fears that she doesn't know who she's becoming. Because Misty's right, she is different. But when she hears a cry for help, she's the same old Jean, ready to come when she hears the cries of an alarmed family, as one of its children's lives is suddenly snuffed out. She rushes for the ocean, trying to make rapport with the family, but she can't seem to make a connection, and they're too difficult to understand, too primitive. And she starts up Danny's hot new little speedboat,
of course,
heading in the direction of the cries. Misty yells after her not to rush off on her own, and so Jean telekinetically yoinks Misty off onto the boat as well.
I guess that works. It's very Green Lantern.
In no time at all, they've made it to what Jean said was the source of the cries, though to Misty it just looks like open water. Mm-hmm. Whoever was here has clearly sunk below the waves. It seems they've come too late. But Jean says she'll find the family, diving into the water. Misty is uneasy sitting here in the boat. She's not a huge fan of the open water, and especially not without her gun, which is apparently her security item.
It doesn't sound like she really needs a gun.
Seems like she needs a pacifier or a safety blanket or something.
I mean, but in her own thoughts, she sounds pretty strong on her own without a gun.
That's when a shark's fin breaches the water. Misty cries out with alarm, hoping to alert Jean to the danger, but there's no sign that she heard.
So she dives in.
So she makes the logical choice and jumps into the water to fight the shark.
Yeah, exactly. She jumps in and she socks the shark in the nose, like you're supposed to do with sharks. But it's not enough to fully convince the shark to beat it.
Okay, we have a full-on Jaws picture here.
Yep, it comes up fast below her, nose hitting home at the midpoint of her back. Unfortunately, Mr. Claremont seems to be misinformed that shark skin is rough like sandpaper, when we all know sharks are smooth.
Sharks are smooth. They're completely smooth. They're the smoothest both ways.
Anybody who doesn't know what that is a fucking Tumblr post from like 5 years ago or something.
I was explaining that
Anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's the truth.
I was explaining this to my roommate, that sharks are smooth!
Sharks are smooth. Chris apparently didn't read up on this one, but I'm sorry, Mr. Claremont. I'm gonna have to debunk this one several decades later. The shark tosses Misty up out of the water, ready to make its final strike when she falls back in. But suddenly, a dolphin barrels into the side of the shark.
Okay.
Hitting it over and over until the shark finally limps off into the ocean. Misty climbs back aboard the boat, finding Jean already there, explaining that she asked one of the dolphins to go rescue Misty since she was too far. Apparently, sharks are the ancient enemies of dolphins, so the dolphin would have been more than happy to oblige, even if the pair hadn't just rescued his family.
Wow.
Misty is beyond annoyed that she came out here and risked her life for some fish. But
Dolphins aren't fish.
Jean does indeed say that, but Misty's mind is soon changed as Jean places her in rapport with the dolphins, feeling the joy of their trip through the waves, and the sadness of the mother dolphin, the sonar click outlining the shark. Jean explains that the dolphins are just as important in their own way, and just like them, Jean has her own place in the scheme of things. She asks Misty to accept her despite everything, and finally Misty softens up, hugging her friend close as the speedboat bobs in the waves.
Okay.
That's kind of gay, guys.
That was a weird story.
That was really strange.
Yeah.
Okay, so on some level, I do appreciate the whole dolphins are living beings and they're just as important as humans thing. Like, animals are important too. But it also is, she did just jump into the ocean to save a dolphin out of nowhere.
More importantly, Misty jumped in
To fight a shark!
Yes.
To fight a shark.
See, Jean knew what she was doing. Misty didn't.
Misty was like, oh no, Jean didn't hear me. I guess I have to fight this shark.
Choices.
That was a lot.
Choices were made.
There's a lot of things happening here.
Right, I'm not sure that the two things going on fully gelled. Like, the thing with Misty and Jean was one thing, and then there was this dolphin thing, and they didn't really come together.
Oh, no, they came together. Look, they're hugging.
I mean, that's true. But I would have already called this one a 3, but I'm gonna have to dock a star for getting the facts about sharks wrong and put it at a 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
This could potentially be gay, but sharks are smooth, guys.
Sharks are smooth.
This is a story-breaking flaw.
Yeah, it just totally broke my immersion.
It took me out of the story. The story about Jean and her feeling of a family in crisis, and then chasing after them, and then Misty jumping in and fighting a shark.
There was a lot happening.
A shark that was supposed to be smooth.
Yes.
So disappointed in you, Mr. Claremont. I thought you researched better than this.
I don't know, maybe they didn't know.
What are you gonna rate this travesty?
It's okay, I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm feeling generous.
Alright.
This could be gay. I'm giving it a 3.
So you docked a star for the sharks, but added a star back for the gayness.
I mean, for one thing, Misty Knight is entering the Greater Westchester polycule. And that's always got my vote.
God, if there was ever a shipping map to be fucking made by the X-Men, it would be a tangled spider web indeed. What about you?
Yeah, also a 3.
Guess I was feeling a little saltier about the sharks.
Well, they should be pretty salty.
So this is gonna probably be a
But
pretty
also
long
smooth.
one. But we know it's not gonna be longer than an hour and a half, so it's okay.
Yes.
Anyway, that's it for us this week. I hope you voted. We're here in the before the vote when we're recording this.
But it will be released after.
It will be after the vote by the time we know, so hopefully things are okay.
We're hoping.
We're hoping.
And try not to be anxious.
Email us any of your arguments about sharks, because we're just gonna have to tell you that sharks are smooth. Email us at comicsplaining@gmail.com. I look forward to your thesis disproving me, and then I will just say that you're wrong.
Understand that this is a hill we're willing to die on.
It is. Your rough sharks are an alternative fact.
Fake news.
Fake news!
What was it? The failing New York Times would have you believe that sharks are rough, coarse, and rough like sand.
And irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Something like that. Hit us up on social media. We are on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram. Comicsplaining all those locations.
Please follow us on Tumblr, because Twitter is dying.
Yeah.
It's got $12 billion it owes because a man-child just decided to buy it on impulse.
Because the Crypto Man
The Crypto
New
Man.
York.
The Crypto Man.
The Crypto Man
invaded Silicon Valley.
and he decided he wanted it, and then he made it owe $12 billion, and that kills companies. Why do you think there's no more Toys R Us? Because someone did something similar, but for a lot less.
You know what it was? It was fucking spite for them holding him to it. And so he decided, I'm gonna do this venture capital style.
I don't think so. I think this was the only way he could get $12 billion. He's not worth that much.
I don't know. Google always thinks I want to know things about Elon Musk, but I don't.
But you keep on looking up things about Elon Musk.
I did it on purpose.
Well, that's it doesn't know your intent. It just knows that you...
Google doesn't understand irony.
Google knows enough of my fucking business that I feel like Google should be able to figure it out by this point. If you'd like to support the show, consider hitting us up over on Patreon. We put out a comic bonus-ode every month. I can't wait to see what we've got coming this month. Or you can hit us up over on Ko-fi, throw us a couple bucks. Or if you don't have any money to throw our way, there are a couple things you can do that would really help the show anyway. Rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice, particularly if it's over on iTunes, because we have, I don't think, any listeners on iTunes. And that's a pretty good algorithm to get up in, eh? But something else you could do, you could follow us over on YouTube, where we put out a video version of the show every week to show little clips of the things we're talking about, so you can see the one panel where Eric decides to show a little thigh.
Saucy.
Ooh.
Or you see the mini panels where Misty Knight is gay.
Yeah, that whole last thing was all in bikinis.
Yeah, it was.
Hit us up over on YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit the bell button, comment. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your boss.
If you have enemies, tell them.
Indeed. Hey, look, we're not tight, right? I just slipped poison in your coffee, but
if you survive, I've got a podcast for you to listen to.
Well, the poison was just laxatives, so it's fine.
That can still kill people.
That's true.
Yes.
Fuck you.
Strong enough laxatives kill people.
If you want to come talk to us, join us over on Discord. We've even got a little channel for Comic Book Club if you want to talk about the issues we read today.
We will defend smooth sharks.
Smooth sharks are we're not moving on this position. We're going to be back at you next week with Thor, and we look forward to talking to you then. Bye!
Bye!
Bye.